Good morning everybody and welcome back to another update video. Now finally today we've received an updated Tombs of Amascut reward blog. Now this has been in the works for a while now, mainly due to a significant amount of feedback that they received on the first one. So in today's blog there's going to be quite a few changes to the existing rewards, and there's even a few new items as well. So today we're going to be going through all of the changes, having a look at each and every item. I hope you guys enjoy as always. If you do, always appreciate a like on the video, helps a ton. Anyway, let's get started. Alright, so the original Tombs of Amascut reward pitch has been out for quite a while now, I think 4 or 5 months, but the original blog had a lot of feedback on it and controversy, so they've actually gone ahead and done quite a significant rework of the majority of the rewards, but not all of them. Now their design philosophy for these rewards actually changed a bit after the release of Next, and what they mean by that was there's actually a very strong community push to get new items that were actually best in slot. So with Next we received Torva, which is objectively the best melee offensive armor in the game, or at least it is better than Bandos, a straight upgrade. So I think after that jagex realized that if Next is releasing best in slot gear, well, maybe a new raid should as well. So I think that's pretty much what they mean when they write, the rewards for defeating Next were really impressive, and this inspired us to reassess the Tombs of Amascut loot. Your input was also crucial in helping us see that we could push even further with these desert delights. Alright, so first up here we have the Masori armor. Now this one was probably the most heavily debated one. Previously it had a low life effect that would give you additional damage when you had very low hit points. But a lot of people complain that this was actually a very awkward design choice because a lot of content can one-shot you at lower hit points, which means you would kind of be restricted on where you could use the Masori armor, making it very niche. So the original design behind the Masori armor set is pretty well being scrapped. The name is going to stay the same, but going forward the Masori armor set is going to consist of a helmet, a chestplate, and a chain skirt. No amulet. Now the set is going to be broken into 2 parts. You're going to get the base set, which will only require 30 defense to equip and 80 ranged, but you're also able to upgrade it to a stronger set, bumping the defense requirement up to 80. So from the Tombs of Amascut, you'll be able to receive the Masori helmet, the Masori chestplate, or the Masori chain skirt. These will make up the base version of the armor and will be the best in slot offensive armor at that level, boasting higher offensive stats than even Armadillo, although the defensive stats are very low. Now that said, you are able to upgrade them. Now to do this, you're going to dismantle existing Armadillo armor pieces. So the Armadillo helmet is worth 1 Armadillo plate, the chestplate is worth 4, and the chain skirt is worth 3. And at 90 crafting, you're able to upgrade your existing Masori armor into the upgraded armor set. Now the upgraded set has the exact same offensive stats, but the defensive stats will push it above Armadillo to make it objectively the new best in slot ranged armor. So the new Masori armor set, no gimmicks, no niche uses, it is just straight up going to be the best in slot ranged armor, and if a new raid, some of the most difficult content in the game, isn't an appropriate place to introduce new best in slot armor, where is honestly? So the upgraded armor set is going to be a significant upgrade over Armadillo, boasting a plus 19 ranged accuracy and plus 8 ranged strength being the 2 main parts, although it also offers higher defensive stats across the board. Okay, so moving on here to another reward that is getting a fairly significant rework, and that is the Heka of Tumeken. Now originally this was a kind of interesting mage weapon, but it seemed again very niche. You'd have 3 quick attacks and then a final stronger slow attack. And that base design is not changing, so the weapon is still going to require 85 magic to equip, and the attack cycles are still going to be the same. So once again, your first 3 attacks are going to be quick, every 2 cycles, but your 4th attack will be a power attack, which will take 4 cycles or twice as long to cast. So the original design is going to stay the same, but they felt like it was lacking something to give it a bit more oomph, to put it kind of more on par with the Twist-a-Bow or the Scythe of Viter. So what they're going to be changing about it is instead of scaling differently according to your magic strength, the Heka will now unleash a special effect depending on the spellbook that you are attuned to. So alongside a 4th, more powerful attack, they're also thinking to add in a special effect based on the spellbook. So there are 4 spellbooks in the game. If you were on the standard spellbook, your 4th attack would do 10% just boosted damage straight up. If you were on the ancient spellbook, your 4th attack would then instead be a 3x3 area of effect attack. Now if you're on the Lunar Spellbook, your 4th attack would heal your allies by 5% of your current magic level alongside the path of the projectile. And this would be capped at healing potentially 5 players. Now this is quite interesting because this is one of the first instances of an equipment like this being able to actually heal your allies. That would be a fairly unique ability. So you could maybe be like a cleric or a healer kind of in a raid. That'd be kind of interesting. And finally here we have the Arceus Spellbook. Now this would actually cost 3 prayer points to use, and on your 4th attack you would drain 5% of the NPC's magic level up to a cap of 20. And if you successfully drain your opponent, you're also going to boost your own magic level by 15% of the drained magic level. So that is also a really interesting one. Makes me wonder if a spellbook swap kind of meta could form, where for example you could start on the Arceus spellbook, drain their magic level, and then spellbook swap to standard just to get more damage. Definitely a lot of interesting options here, and overall does seem like a much stronger ability. I mean, they just straight up made it stronger. Okay, so moving on here to another item, we have the Ward of Elidinis. Now this isn't really changing much at all. Now the Ward of Elidinis is going to be the best in slot mage offhand for magic damage anyway, and will require 80 magic, 80 defense, and 80 prayer to equip. Now similar to the last pitch, the Ward of Elidinis is the new best in slot magic shield. When you do the Tombs of Amascut, you will receive a broken ward as a rare loot, and you'll be able to combine that with an arcane sigil and 10,000 soul runes to repair it. Now to repair it, you need 90 prayer and smithing, but if you don't have that, you're also able to pay 20 mil to get somebody to do it for you. Now in addition to that, your existing arcane spirit shields can be dismantled to return them back to an arcane sigil, which means you wouldn't have to go get another one to make the new Ward of Elidinis. Now comparing it to the direct upgrade, which is essentially the arcane spirit shield, the Ward of Elidinis will have 5 additional magic attack bonus, as well as most importantly a 5% magic damage bonus on the equipment, making it by far the best in slot mage offhand, at least for magic damage. Alright, so moving on here, we have a couple of items that haven't really changed that much at all. We have the Lightbearer, which I don't think has changed at all. Now, just as a quick refresher, this ring has no stats apart from one special ability, which makes it so your special attack energy will regenerate 100% faster. So in a lot of PvM scenarios, you probably won't want to bring this ring because, well, the lack of stats is a pretty significant sacrifice, but there could be some niche uses for it. And one thing I didn't consider that they mentioned in the blog is, well, skilling. Using it while woodcutting or fishing could be nice because you don't usually have a usable ring to wear while skilling anyway. Okay, so moving on here to another item that hasn't changed too much, we have the Osmumten's Fang. Now the Fang requires 82 attack to equip and is meant to be a premier weapon for taking on high defense monsters. Now this is effective at taking on high defense monsters because it uses a different damage calculation formula. Instead of rolling between 0 and your max hit, it'll actually now roll between a more consistent range. For example, if your max hit was 60, a normal weapon would roll between 0 and 60. However, if you're using the Fang, it would then actually roll between 9 and 51, so you wouldn't actually be able to hit the zeros, assuming you pass the accuracy check. Now this is all pretty much the same, however they have reframed this weapon as being now potentially the best in slot weapon to take on the Corporal Beast. So similar to the Crystal Halberd and various spears, this weapon will deal full damage to Corp when on stab. In addition, we will be removing the 50 damage cap that Corp currently has, which means this weapon is now going to be great for taking on the Corporal Beast, and you'll be able to have fun while hunting for the sigils to make that Ward of Elidinis. So it kind of seems like that is where they're positioning one of the best uses for this weapon to be, although it does seem like anything with high defense, this will be one of the best options. Alright, so that's it for all of the main rewards. However, there's actually a few things at the bottom here that they have added that are brand new. Now, first up here, the new raid is going to offer a new secondary ingredient to make a new potion, the Stat Renewal Potion. Now, the Stat Renewal Potion will work a little bit like an Overload Potion. The unique effect of the Overload is that every 15 seconds, your stats will boost immediately back up to what their max boost was. So if you get drained by an ability or use a Saradomin Brew, it doesn't matter because after 15 seconds your stats will boost right back to where they were. So it doesn't appear like a Stat Renewal Potion would give you any boost itself, but it would help tether your existing stat boosts and boost them back up to their max every 15 seconds as long as the potion is active. And the Stat Renewal Potion would last for 5 minutes, making it potentially very useful at somewhere like Nex, for example, where you're constantly getting drained. And finally here at the very bottom, they address how you're actually going to get to the Tombs of Amascut, and it looks like the item they're going with is the Pharaoh's Scepter. So once the quest in Raid is released, you'll be able to use the scepter on an obelisk outside the Raid entrance to grant an additional teleport to the Raid entrance. So that is it for the updated blog. Essentially, they kind of axed the idea of introducing side grades and just decided to go with straight upgrades mostly across the board. There are of course a few other niche items like the Osmumten's Fang and the Lightbearer, but the premier items you're getting from here are pretty well just going to be straight best in slot upgrades, and I think personally that's okay. Armadillo has been best in slot for a decade or more. I think it's time. Anyway, as always, let me know what you think of these items down below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Now, before I go here, I want to give a giant thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to The Hybrid, Alejandra, Sizwani's Flail, and Kush Patel for all being subscribed to the Dragon tier. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much. Also, a big thank you to Cadell Studio Gaming, Locustiz, Mexos, Basetitch, NDM001, and YoYoSub89 for also being subscribed at the Evernight tier. Appreciate it a lot. As always, if you're looking for another way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. You will become immortalized in all of my future videos, get a custom role in my Discord server, and access to my video release schedule. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.